Good evening. Leading the Nightline tonight, a total of 4,693 Sarawakian students will pursue their undergraduate study tuition free in 2026 under the State's Free Tertiary Education Scheme, or FTES. Backed by a 250 million ringgit allocation, the program covers 64 degree courses offered at 4 Sarawak-owned universities. Launching an initiative in Kuching, Sarawak Premier Tetapi Dan Sri Abang Johari Dunopeng described the scheme as a major investment in education and long-term human capital development. Abang Johari also gave assurances that funding for the Free Tertiary Education Scheme will be provided annually, ensuring the continuity and sustainability of the program.
This is the first year. So this first year will go to second year, then you have a new first year. So we pay 2 years. Then the second go to third, then you have 3 years. Then it will continue. Si asalnya dapat belajar je. Sanya mau, nya belajar mana-mana.
Based on the courses.
Courses. Except the courses.
The 64 approved courses are offered at 4 Sarawak-owned institutions of higher learning, namely Swinburne University of Technology Sarawak, Curtin University Malaysia, University Technology Sarawak, and ICATS University College. For 2026, funding will support both STEM and non-STEM programs, including courses in psychology and finance, in line with evolving workforce needs. The Premier says more programs will be added, subject to approval by the Ministry of Education and the respective universities.
There will be new discipline added, meaning we will include the new discipline. But I leave it to the Ministry of Education as well as the universities to determine. As long as we have prepared the right workforce for our new economy.
Under FTES, the Sarawak government will fully absorb undergraduate tuition costs, easing the financial burden on families across the state. Eligibility is based on recognized academic qualifications, including a credit in Bahasa Malaysia. Unified Examination Certificate UEC holders are also eligible, provided they meet the stipulated requirements.
The Sarawak government announces plans to expand the construction of elevated roads in Sebuyau, Gedong and parts of Baram in efforts to overcome the long-standing challenges of building on peat land. Sarawak Premier Tetapi Dan Sri Abang Johari Dunopeng says that while elevated roads come with higher upfront costs, they offer a smarter long-term solution with significantly lower maintenance costs and greater structural stability.
We have this road in SARAWAK developed before. We use geotextile, but apparently geotextile is not really effective because the road is still gelombang di atas tanah pit. And I have directed JKR to change and use new technology in the construction of road on pit. And that technology is elevated road. Yeah, but though initially it is expensive, but long term the maintenance cost is cheaper. And then the road that we build will be in Samahan too, from Sebuyau right to Gedong. My constituency lah. Because this area are pit soil, and then the other area will be Limbang Lawas and part of Baram. We don't have to build the road on the soil, but on elevated, the soil, particularly mangrove and pit soil, are not disturbed.
He also explains that the strategic move would help the land in the affected areas retain its function as a carbon sink, while also opening doors for Sarawak to participate in carbon trading. Previously, media reports state that Abang Johari announces the adoption of pillar-supported piling method in Lawas and Limbang, ensuring stability of highways built on soft soil.
Efforts to ease the rising cost of living will be the government's top priority next year. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim says the initiative will be driven through more targeted subsidies and cash assistance alongside improvements to the minimum wage aimed at reducing the daily financial burden on the people.
Apa concern kita ialah tentang pendapatan rakyat. Ini kita mulakan dengan penjawat awam. Kenaikan yang paling tinggi dalam sejarah. Cik Gliks, gaji minimal RM3,100 untuk semua Gliks. Jadi kita tekankan supaya sektor swasta juga sambut. Gaji minimal daripada RM1,200 naik RM1,700. Kos hari hidup memang ada. Betul kita kata international fenomena, tapi kita cuba jalankan. Itu yang kita buat. Tunai Rahmah, STR, Tunai Rahmah dengan Sarawak itu RM15 bilion. Maknanya sumbangan kembali kepada rakyat kerana untuk menampung kos hari hidup. Cukup belum. Ya. Tapi ini langkah-langkah yang diambil yang belum diambil sebelumnya.
A French court has sentenced a doctor to life in prison for poisoning dozens of patients, a case that has shocked the country and shaken trust in the medical profession. 12 people have died. Many more survived, including a 4-year-old child. The court says the crimes were deliberate, calculated, and driven by a disturbing motive.
Frederic Brichet, a 53-year-old anesthetist, was convicted on Thursday of poisoning 30 patients, both children and adults, while working at 2 private clinics in the eastern French city of Besançon. The attacks took place over nearly a decade, between 2008 to 2017.
Évidemment, c'est un soulagement, une libération, parce qu'aujourd'hui, la honte a changé de camp. Pendant 8 ans, les partis civils ont été roulés dans la boue, injuriés, menacés, outragés. Aujourd'hui, la défense a compris que sa stratégie n'était pas la bonne et que, encore une fois, tout mène à Frédéric Péchier. Il est aujourd'hui déclaré coupable de l'intégralité des faits. Il est donc le plus grand criminel de l'histoire judiciaire française. Évidemment, je ne doute pas qu'il y aura un match retour. Eh bien, nous sommes prêts, nous serons prêts, nous irons jusqu'au bout pour l'affronter.
Prosecutors said Brichet tampered with intravenous bags, contaminating them with substances including potassium, adrenaline, and even anticoagulant, triggering sudden cardiac arrest or internal bleeding during routine medical procedures. The victims were not considered high risk. The youngest, 4-year-old Teddy, survived 2 cardiac arrests during a routine tonsil operation in 2016. The oldest victim was 89 years old.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announces a package of reforms to crack down on those who spread hate, division and radicalisation, following the attacks on Sydney's Bondi Beach that killed 15 people. The series of measures includes a revised definition of hate speech, enabling the Department of Home Affairs to deny visas to individuals who spread hate speech, and educational reforms to raise awareness of anti-Semitism.
Today I'm announcing a significant number of additional actions to build on the plan. Firstly, the Attorney-General and Minister for Home Affairs will develop a package of legislative reforms to crack down on those who spread hate, division and radicalisation. Aggravated hate speech offence for preachers and leaders who promote violence. Secondly, increased penalties for hate speech promoting violence. Thirdly, making hate an aggravating factor in sentencing crimes for online threats and harassment. Fourthly, developing a regime for listing organisations whose leaders engage in hate speech promoting violence or racial hatred. And fifthly, developing a narrow federal offence for serious vilification based on race and or advocating racial supremacy. The Minister for Home Affairs will also have new powers to cancel or reject visas for those who spread hate and division in this country or would do so if they were allowed to come here.
Following the shooting, Albanese has been leading a state-federal push for stricter gun control after the older assailant was found to have 6 licensed guns.
YouTuber Candace Owens reveals major information regarding the assassination of Charlie Kirk, where she alleges the involvement of America's FBI. On the day of the shooting, Turning Point USA spokesperson Andrew Colvett posted on X saying that the surgeon working on Charlie's body claims that Charlie's bones were so strong that it had stopped the bullet from going through the area where he was shot. Today, Candace, acting upon sources from the hospital, says that the surgeon, Dr. Lee Trotter, never made such statements as it violates the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Instead, her sources told her that the Dr. Lee was intercepted by a number of federal agents when he was trying to clean Charlie's body before it was brought to his widow, Erica Kirk.
The surgeon wanted to do what he always does, right? He wanted to clean Charlie up before his wife got to the hospital. Except he was blocked by federal officers who were already at the hospital. They stopped him from being allowed to return to the operating room. It's never happened before. It's inappropriate. It sounds inappropriate for federal officers to say, I know you just came out of there from trying to save his life, but you're not allowed to go back in the operating room. I'm on orders. No one's allowed to access this body. Kind of weird. Weird because we are in manhunt hours. We're talking 2.5 hours, maybe up to 3 hours after Charlie got shot. And the feds are not just at the hospital trying to take cameras down from inside the hospital, as we learned they seized the cameras on that day, but they're also blocking the surgeon's access to an operating room. Shouldn't you be outside racing to find who the killer is? Like, what are we doing here?
Candace also reveals that the feds had found a non-smoking gun in an area where bomb dogs were deployed, but were not able to locate anything. And then she questions how 3 junior police officers found the gun by chance that was away from the immediate crime scene rather than on or near the suspect at the time of his arrest. Though Candace has not presented these proofs explicitly, many pundits and citizens alike agree on the suspicions and questions she has raised throughout months of investigations into the death of Charlie Kirk. Some argue that his assassination emulated the assassination of former U.S. President John F. Kennedy, where various parties and nations were allegedly involved.
And now back in Malaysia, before we wrap up the Nightline, Johor's Customs Department successfully seized a total of 4.6 million ringgit worth of drugs throughout 2025 after 23 arrests were made this year. This significant achievement proves Johor's customs commitment in eradicating the smuggling of drugs in the state. Its director, Amidul Ismail, says investigations were conducted thoroughly and the suspects have been charged in accordance with the existing governing law.
Di Johor kita ada dalam 23 kes sehingga 30 November 2025 kita ada 23 kes dah yang melibatkan nilai sebanyak 4.6 juta ringgit Malaysia. Ini cuma narkotik sajalah.
All cases are investigated under Section 39B in bracket 1, subsection B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952, which provides punishment including a death penalty or life imprisonment and whipping if found guilty. He stresses that the Customs Department will not compromise with any parties soliciting in any drug smuggling activities due to national security and implications towards the society.
I'm Shulsh Madro. Thank you for watching and have a good night.